I want to mention two quick things that I commonly get a question about, or like a common like complaint perhaps. The first one is that when I was early on in my career, especially at Pinterest, I had a tendency of I wanted to move quickly. I thought the name of the game is velocity. I just want to be able to make a bunch of code changes, land them quickly. That's how I show I'm productive and efficient. And so what would happen is I would make a code change, which frankly wasn't very well thought out. And I thought that I could make the initial code change and then improve it. Either make a new version of that code change, like, a V2 of that diff, or I could make another code change on top of that, which addresses the feedback. And I would recommend strongly that you don't do that. I think for something as important as writing code and getting code reviewed, you want to go the extra mile and do that thinking, do that legwork initially. And so, like, let me give you an example. I would make a code change and I would have the unit test be in a separate diff. And that's typically not what you want to do, right? Like, you want to actually go the extra mile to say, hey, like, I did the thinking to like embed the testing right here with this diff. It's like one atomic unit. Or if someone said, hey, I want you to make this change, I'd say, okay, like, let me go ahead and land this, and then I'll make your changes in another diff. And that, again, it makes people feel not heard. And I got that feedback directly at Pinterest. So I think you really want to go the extra mile to satisfy the requests of the people around you and make sure that you're hitting a high quality bar. One variation of this question is, I just want to get feedback at a high level on what I'm doing. And that's okay. That actually happens a lot. But what I'd recommend you do there is there's like another kind of type of diff that you could make called the RFC diff. An RFC diff is a request for comment diff. And the idea is that you're deliberately punting. You're not even going to think about unit testing or like cleaning up the diff and, using really good naming. The whole point is that you want to put something out there to get a quick gut check on if you're directionally correct. And that has a lot of value. But what you should do is make it really clear in the diff title and the diff description that this is an RFC. This is like a just purely hypothetical. And you want to get feedback. And like, then it's okay. People can just give you high level feedback rather than nitpicking on small things. And so like in that example, you can like maybe include a log statement, or you can even have like a misspelling. It doesn't really matter because the whole point of that RFC diff is to get high level feedback. So that's like one tactical thing that I wish I had learned earlier in my career. And the second FAQ that I get is that, hey, I genuinely don't really have a good way to test my code change in isolation. And I think sometimes I call BS. And I think you can either make a unit test or like figure out some way to like really exercise that code change that you made. But if it truly is like you're just making like a spelling change, you're like adding the documentation, that's fine. Like, I don't expect you to have, manufactured a whole new testing framework for that. But I still think you need to have some way to prove to me as the reviewer that you have done the sanity testing. And that could be literally as simple as, hey, I built the app and it succeeded. It compiled properly. Like, that's like a basic level of like, okay, something works. Or even if you didn't add or remove a unit test, just run the existing unit testing script and then show me that, hey, all the tests still pass. So even if you're like refactor, like you're renaming a variable, right? Like, you wouldn't expect any unit test to really be added or removed for that. But just show me that, hey, like you still did the check mark. You still hit all the check boxes of like it compiles and all the unit tests pass. That gives me a lot more confidence as a reviewer that I can go ahead and accept your change.